My name is Elissa Montanti. The Global Medical Relief Fund is a foundation that was founded in 1997, and we bring children from all over the world, anywhere on earth where there is a need, where a child has either lost his limb or she has an illness, been burned. We bring them here to our charity in the Dare to Dream House, and we provide housing, we provide transportation, food, love, back and forth to the hospital, which is the Shriners Children's Hospital, in which we partner with, and they provide all of the prosthetics, rehabilitation, and surgery at no cost. In 1997, I was actually asked by a friend to get involved in a local fundraiser in Staten Island, where I live, to raise money for toys and school supplies for the children of war-torn Bosnia. And I always dabbled into music, and he asked me to write some lyrics, and so I collaborated with a friend, and we titled the song "Let's Do a Miracle," because I felt it was very fitting, the title. And so at the event, which was at the Colonnade Diner here in Staten Island, students and parents came, with pencil cases and crayons and, coloring books. And I met with the ambassador to Bosnia at the time, at the UN afterwards, because I learned about him just by reading, his heavy involvement in the Bosnian War, and I asked how I could help further. And he said, we have much stronger needs. More than pencil cases, we have children that have been injured, thousands of them, by landmines. And he reached into his drawer and he handed me a letter that was written by an 11-year-old boy, asking for 2 new arms and a leg. So the idea of coloring books and pencil cases flew out the window, and I saw this boy's picture in the letter, and my life changed at that moment, and I knew somehow, some way I had to get him here. And so I recruited, miraculously, airlines, hospitals, prosthetic companies, and they all said, yes, we'll help. So it was just a matter of getting him here. And the airlines Austrian Airlines had said, we'll help. And then I said, okay, he'll stay in my house. Brought him here, and his mom, and he lived with me for 4 months. And within that time, he received 2 new arms and a leg and a new life. And when he went back is when I realized that I really had to do more. And so I started the charity really from nothing. And I compiled lists in Bosnia. I went to Bosnia, and there were so many children that needed help. And one by one, I started bringing them here. I was housing them first at my home, and then at a former orphanage in Staten Island, Mount Loretto. And then after that, Mount Manresa, which was a Jesuit retreat house. And the charity started to grow from Bosnia to Liberia, from Liberia to the earthquake in El Salvador. And then the war broke out in Iraq. And heaven's and hell's gates opened up, in the sense that these children were injured, but heaven's gates in the sense that the military was reaching out to me and asking if I can help this child, another child, because I learned about what we did. I went to Iraq several times. We helped many children. And to fast forward to today, it was like 14 years and 60 minutes later, and we were approached by CBS 60 Minutes, and they said, we'd love to do a segment on your work. And I was, oh my God, this would be, something wonderful. And they did. And they followed me for 6 months to Haiti and everything that we did. And so they did a segment, and that was the best thing that could happen to the charity, in the sense to bring us out there. And we got a house from it. Donors questioned and said, what do you need? The most, we need a house. So when the children come, I don't have to house them in an orphanage, in a Jesuit retreat house. And so now, 4 years later, from 60 Minutes, we have a wonderful house called the Dare to Dream House. And that is where all the children stay while they're being treated. So we transport them here. raise money for airline tickets, for visas. We go food shopping and bring them back and forth to the hospital. But the children are not numbers. The children we know all about the children as they grow to be 21 because we follow up with the children. So although we may have helped about 197, 200 children in 18 years, there's been about 1,000 follow-up visits. And all those children are part of the global family. So today, for example, we have a child from Rwanda, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old from Nepal who was injured in the latest earthquake, another child from Nepal who lost a leg in a bus, and a girl from St. Lucia. And all these kids, like all the other children that come here, what's so wonderful about what we do, aside from prosthetics, aside from putting a child back together again and making them whole, enabling them to function in their own community, and growing and going back with dignity and restored youth. The kids come and you'll have all these different families from all corners of the earth. And they come with their mother or guardian, and they all live together under one roof. They eat together, they laugh together, they talk together, they cry together, they heal together. And where you may not have known about one culture, when you go back, you now have a friend from a different part of the world. And these kids go back as ambassadors, little ambassadors, and in many ways, inadvertently, it's healthy foreign relations, So we love what we do. And again, these children come back as they grow into their 21. So we know their dreams, we know so much about them, and we're very personal, and we're very much involved. We only have 3 people working, including myself, and my home is up the street, so it's 24/7. It's not 9 to 5, it's not Monday through Friday. Who has a toothache, who has a cold, who needs this on the weekend. It's very personable, very personal. We're like a mini UN, and we're proud of it. Our goals, basically are to grow, but I never want to grow more than not knowing who we're helping, because each child has a name and a dream. We don't want to see a child as a number. So I would love to get a bigger house, and I would love to help more children a year, but never make it so much that, it just gets too crowded in the sense that you don't know where you're going. I want to know where I'm going. We struggle like any other non-for-profit. 60 Minutes put us on the map, got us a house, but it's not easy. It's not easy. But I go to sleep at night, and I'm very optimistic, and I think that if I wasn't optimistic, I would never be where, the charity wouldn't be where it's at, because I always saw the glass as half full. And that when you really, really believe in something, you really need to go for it. Whereas if you think about it and, say, well, what if this and what if that, and you think, actually you think logical, it isn't gonna happen. You really gotta believe in what you do and love what you do. And I absolutely love what I do. And, just making a difference and knowing, the difference you're making in a child's life, that from being carried onto the plane or in a wheelchair and they go home walking with their head held high. What greater reward is that?